embrace your discomfort. Like when
Well
you are
said.
struggling, that is the time when you are growing the most.
I think having a good solid 4-year undergrad degree from one of the top B school brands in the country is a fundamental requirement to lay a solid foundation to build a career in corporates.
You both of you tell me, this particular prep, you doing it with your professional badminton, you doing it while you were, studying in your college. In this particular journey, was there a point where you felt, galat decision to nahi le liya prepare karne ka?
Almost every time. Like I was, after each mock, I was like, I need to do something else. I can't do it in 1 month. Is there? It is very less time.
So it is not an easy journey at all. My prep started with mock tests. Directly from day one, I gave mock tests.
So you went reverse.
I went reverse. I'm not sure if it's the right strategy, but given the time constraint, I think that was the right strategy for me. It's really very difficult. It's not easy, but I did it in a month. This shows that it's definitely possible.
Okay, but in this whole schedule, did you find some aspect which helped you, a habit, a tip which you felt, ये बहुत अच्छा काम किया?
I think one thing was prioritization. Because the thing is, you have 1 month, so you can't do everything. You see what you are good at and just double down on that.
Managing time was one thing that I think I did better than probably some of the other applicants.
Why you took a partial drop? Because it is a very, very brave move. Wasting a year is not something any parent would really support. Welcome everyone to the IMS IPM BBA channel. Today I have some interesting guests with me. All of you who are looking to pursue IPMAT, looking at studying in the hallows of IIM right after 12th, there is this particular question which keeps on getting into your head. As a parent, as a student, is it worth it? Is it tough? बहुत पढ़ना पड़ेगा क्या? Or the worst thing is, I am a sports, fanatic. Is it something which I can do with my, with the management studies? Will it be possible? I'm not really from the CBSE or the ICSE board. Would I still be capable? If I start sometime, let's say in the month of February, January, I have only like 3-4 months to prepare, is it possible? I'm going to answer all your questions today in this particular podcast. I have students who would be answering right the questions which you have in your head. Okay, so without any further ado, let's welcome Raksha and Harsh today. So, welcome Raksha. Ladies first here. So, I would like you to introduce yourself and let our students and parents know what exactly your profile looks like.
Okay. Hi, I'm Raksha Kandaswamy. I am a resident of Navi Mumbai, in Mumbai. I completed my grade 10th and 12th from Pudar International School, Nerul. I scored a 95% in my grade 10th and a 96% in my grade 12th. I was a student of commerce with core mathematics in my grade 12th. Apart from academics, I'm also a professional badminton athlete. I compete at tournaments in the national as well as international levels. So I play up to 10 to 12 tournaments in a year, each lasting for up to 5 to 6 days. I underwent coaching for IIM entrance examinations like IPMAT under IMS for the past year. And today I'm here. I am a final admit holder at IIM Rohtak, and I'm excited to share my journey, tips and insights with all the aspiring management students and athletes alike.
Lovely. Thank you so much and welcome, Raksha. Yes, Harsh, tell me.
Yeah. Good morning, ma'am. I'm Harsh Sampath and I'm from Mumbai, Maharashtra. and I completed my 10th from Kapil Vidyanidhi International School. I got 93% there, and in my 12th I had commerce. I did it from HR College of Commerce and Economics, and I got 82 percentage. And currently I was a partial dropper, so I was first at IMS BSc Economics. I took a drop from there. Then I went to Hinduja BMS, and after that I came into IIM Rohtak. And yes, so I prepared with a partial drop, so my SEM and exams and Rohtak examination clashed. And apart from that, I am part of my mother's startup for more than 4 to 5 years. And yes, I am also I will be joining IIM Rohtak as IPM 2025, and I am excited to share my journey.
I am so happy, both of you coming from completely contrasting backgrounds and contrasting time in terms of prep. Okay. Now, before I start with my questions, which is something a lot of students ask, I want to understand something from you, Raksha. Okay. You started a year or 2 years back with IMS. Okay. You appeared for what all entrance exam did you applied for, and how many of them were you able to crack?
Initially, since I was unsure about the sufficiency of my grade 12th prep, I decided to apply to 8 to 10 colleges in India as well as to colleges abroad. I applied for Shivnadar University in Delhi, Manipal, Bangalore campus as well as Manipal campus, Flames, Pune, NMIMS Mumbai, the Mumbai campus. And I also applied for Delhi University, that is after my 12th results came in. Apart from this, I applied for colleges abroad, Warwick Business School in UK, NTU and NUS in Singapore, as well as a couple of universities in Australia, which is University of Melbourne, Monash and Uni of New South Wales. And I converted all of the entrance examinations and the personal interviews. So, yeah, except for NUS and of course, IIM Indore, I converted most of it. Yeah.
Okay. So, it is not uncommon. The reason why I asked you this, because a lot of students at a time when they know that they're supposed to be applying for a UG program, there's a lot of confusion among students. Should we apply here? Should we apply there? I think asking you, it was a deliberate question because a lot of students have to accept the fact that at one given point in time, you will be applying to almost 10 to 12, 8 dozen, which comes very, very normal. Because in a UG setup, there is different entrance exam application. Also, there is different applications for colleges. Okay. Now, you have cracked almost all the colleges which you kind of applied for. Now, you tell me something, Raksha. With the colleges you applied, you decided to go with IIM Kozhikode. Okay. Why have you decided for IIM Kozhikode?
Firstly, right from the start, I wish to pursue a 4-year degree, which is an honors, be it a BSc Economics honors or a BBA honors. At Kozhikode, I have a BMS honors degree. So, that was my aim right from the start. I did not wish to pursue an IPM. I wanted to do my undergrad for 4 years to get the in-depth knowledge about the subject and to decide which field I should branch into specifically. And then I wanted to gain work ex for 2 to 3 years. Somehow the idea of completing your entire management education at one go, doing your BBA, MBA and then going to work was not appealing to me. Which is why in the first place I applied to colleges abroad. All of them gave me a 4-year course. So that is one of the main reasons. Secondly, in other fields like medical or engineering, people appear for JEE and NEET. All the professional courses last for 4 years or plus. Whereas in the commerce line, it has always been BBA or BCom, which is a 3-year course. And unlike engineering and medical, people in the commerce line do not usually take their undergrad seriously, right? It's usually that do a good MBA from say an IIM or your Indian School of Business, and then land up in a good corporate job. But I think having a good solid 4-year undergrad degree from one of the top B school brands in the country is a fundamental requirement to lay a solid foundation to build a career in corporates. So that was one of the main reasons I chose IIM Kozhikode, because it is a 4-year program. Secondly, since I am a professional badminton athlete and I've always kept sports above everything else in terms of priority, IIM Kozhikode management and the professors, the faculty that I interacted with during my personal interview and even after that, they showed a lot of inclination towards people from sports background, not only sports, all extracurriculars, and they seemed willing to support my journey in sports, which is why I chose IIM Kozhikode over IIM Rohtak, wherein I've heard the academic rigor is a lot from the current students. So that is one of the reasons. So to summarize, to get a good undergrad degree, 4 years, and also to pursue my badminton sport aspirations alongside.
Okay. That is something which is a very smart move, okay? However, to each and every student, this is something which is applicable, okay? So to all the students who are listening to this particular podcast, it is a very, it was a deliberate question, which I've asked you, Raksha, because a lot of questions which we get normally as counselors is the fact that, ma'am, if I'm taking Rohtak, if I'm applying for, IPMAT Rohtak, or if I'm applying for IPMAT Indore, is it something which I'm supposed to be sticking to? For every individual, you guys are unique in your own self. And for all the students, this is something what you will, or the students will have to understand, even the parents for that matters. Parents have to understand that what is your child looking at and what are their requirements. If you feel he is an athlete just like you or she is an athlete just like you, they can look out for a different path for them. Eventually, the path they would reach out to what they are supposed to. And that's how exactly the undergrad journey goes. So thank you so much for answering that. Now, Harsh, for you, it was a very different transition for you. Okay? You tell me something, why you took a partial drop? Because it is a very, very brave move. If you tell anybody, I'm looking forward to take a drop or a partial drop, wasting a year is not something any parent would really support. Everybody would actually advise you against it. What was that thought process because of which you thought partial drop leke I would appear for the the IPMAT?
So last year when I applied to IMS BSc Eco, so I also did not have anything in mind ke I would take a partial drop or something. And as you said, the pressure from parents is there that you can't take a drop, you need to continue with whatever college you have got. But in NMIMS, I realized that BSc Economics was there. It was obviously very economics based and I did not like it, and I was more inclined towards managemental studies. So I went to a local college in Hinduja. But again, I thought that the academic rigor and the opportunities I was getting there were not as good as I would get in an IPM course. And I actually I applied for IPMAT as something as a backup. I was like, in 1 year I have to give CAT also. So I was like, let's give IPMAT and let's give it a try. If it happens, it happens. Otherwise, it will be a boost for CAT. But after when I got into it, I thought it would be better to take the college.
Okay, and you are finally taking the IIM Rohtak.
Yes.
Okay. You both of you tell me, this particular prep, you doing it with your professional badminton, you doing it while you were, studying in your college. When did you guys realize that IPMAT prep is not that easy what it seems to be?
Okay, so if the notion is that the difficulty levels of cracking an IIM has been hyped, it is not at all true. It is definitely tough. Okay, so it is not an easy journey at all. Initially, my plan was to give the IPMAT in 2026 after taking a complete drop. Okay, my dad wanted me to take a drop focus on badminton during that 1 year, and at the same time prepare for your IPMAT and give it in 2026. So I decided to appear for all these IIM entrance exams this year just to gain experience. Okay, next year when I sit for these exams, I'll have that edge over all other applicants who are giving the exam for the first time. So this year I did not really expect to convert any of the calls even to the PI. I did not expect to make it to the PI stage also. Because when I started exactly one day after my boards, March 27th exactly, I remember. There was so much to do. I mean, it was not even related to core mathematics that I had studied in 11th and 12th. This is completely your 10th grade, 9th and 10th grade mathematics aptitude, which is not at all related to your school kind of training. You would not use pen and paper, step markings nahi hai, structured. It's not your structured answers. You just need to get the answer, whichever way you use. Whereas in board exams, you have step marking. Even if you know the answer, you have to show your steps. So I was so trained to answer in a structured way that solving questions mentally seemed very tough for me. The initial, it might sound funny, but I did not study each topic individually. My prep started with mock tests. Directly from day one, I gave mock tests.
So you went reverse.
I went reverse. It's usually the last stages where people give mock tests. I started with mock tests. So
and you realized that, wow.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I'm not sure if it's the right strategy, but given the time constraint, I think that was the right strategy for me. Not only mock tests, but when I started giving the mock tests, I realized that ye to 11th and 12th se bilkul alag hai. It's the 11th and 12th prep is not helping here. It's totally different. You have arithmetic calculations, work time, profit and loss, time, speed, distance, and all of that. And I thought I had a lot of confidence on my verbal ability, okay, my English, until I started preparing for IPMAT. When I entered the verbal section, I realized that this is not sufficient. Especially the reading comprehension part is still manageable. The LR part, the logical reasoning, which consists Venn diagrams, seating arrangements, family relation kind of questions, it's still manageable. I was good at it. But the verbal part was not as easy as it seemed. So initially when I started preparing, the idea was that I'll work on my quants and my speed. QA section agar maine crack kar diya, to LR and verbal ability, VARC, wo to ho hi jayega. That was my initial. Then I realized that VARC also needed separate preparation. It was not about reading books. You had to sit separately to learn words, to memorize words, meanings, antonyms, synonyms, to crack the VA section also. So, it's really very difficult. It's not easy, but I did it in a month. On exactly 1 month after my boards, I gave my IPMAT. So, this shows that it's definitely possible. I think the structure and the timetable that you give is really important. Mock test, not only mock test, uske baad ka jo analysis hai, you have to sit. Mock test ho gaya 2 hours ke liye. After that, you sit for 2 to 3 hours to analyze your mock test. Because in a mock test, of course, you can't solve all the questions. There are a lot of unattempted questions. So you have to solve that, and then it helps you realize ki what are the questions, what are the topics that I can go first, that I'm good at. So managing time was one thing that I think I did better than probably some of the other applicants. So I realized that concept topics I can be confident, and concept topics I should leave it for the end of the exam. And how much time to, since there is no sectional time limit for the IPMAT Rohtak exam, I decided to give a lot of time to quant section because I was confident that LR and your VARC, I can do it quickly. So that was how I managed my time instead of allocating equally. So if you realize which strategy is best for you, I think 1 or 2 months is also time enough to make it.
Provided you have the bandwidth, you have the appetite of learning. So a lot of parents and students who come to us and say ki is really important. Is test prep really important? I think this is a good answer for all the parents and students who feel ki 11th, 10th, 11th, 12th ka hi portion hai, but there's a lot of unlearning and new learning which goes there. But Harsh, I'm very keen to understand what has been because for her, the journey was different.
Yes.
She started at a different time. But again, as I mentioned, I stick to it that all students are different individuals and your learning journey, the learning curve is different for all of you. What was that enlightened moment ki batti jal gayi ki अरे ये इतना easy नहीं है जितना दिख रहा था?
So for me, it was like I also started in my SEM and exams completed by 15th March. So I called my sir and I told ki sir, I want to do IPMAT, and yeah, so I also upfront started with a mock, and I realized ki what are my weaknesses, and then I realized ki maths was my very strong point, and compared to that, VA was a very weak point.
That's a very unique thing. Maths mein maximum of the students struggle.
Yes. But I was lucky for that. So in my whole prep, 70 to 80% of my time went to VARC only. Daily, I used to spend 6 to 7 hours on VARC only, and 2 or 3 hours max to max on maths. And in maths also, I was confident ki cut off to clear hona hi hai. And verbal, I was like ki in initial stages, I got in sectional test 55 marks in Indore paper, and 55 is like very bottom line, like people start with 55. So yes, but in verbal, RCs were a pain point, and then I realized ki grammar and vocab was my very strong point. So it was like ki basic memory hacks, and all I used to grammar and vocab, I literally rutted all the words and everything. But RCs were a pain point, and yes, I realized that it was not that easy. But I kept reading, like I used to read for 4 or 5 hours continuously. So yes, that was my journey. Yeah.
But tell me something. In this particular journey, was there a point where you felt कि गलत decision तो नहीं ले लिया prepare करने का? Did you feel that कि अरे ये कुछ ज़्यादा हो रहा है, मैंने ये तो expect नहीं किया था, इतना करना पड़ेगा?
Almost every time. Like after each mock, I was like, I need to do something else. I can't do it in 1 month. Is there? It is very less time. But yes, I think after every time you need to be consistent. Ki abhi if you have took up something, then there are going to be setbacks in each and every career stages, whatever you take up. So I think you need to be consistent, and you need to tell yourself ki next time we'll try better.
You just kept motivating yourself.
Yes.
And let me tell you something. Recently, I had a chat with the students who kind of cracked IPMAT Indore, and I'm sure both of you must have appeared for it, because that's what students aspire. Ki IPMAT Indore kar lenge, which is the difficulty level of that exam, and you guys prepare for that. And eventually, when even Rohtak crack karna is not that easy, but when you crack that, you know that even that second best is one of the best in the country. Okay, and those students also said the same thing what you just mentioned, that motivating, there is a time where you look at your scores when you give your mock test, which you mentioned that you went reverse, and that is the most demotivating factor, where you look at the test and you're like, itna padh ke bhi kuch nahi ho raha hai. So self motivation, where did it come from? मतलब कुछ तो होगा ना, there has to be something which कुछ ऐसा IIM रोहतक या इंदौर सोच रखा था, या ये सोच रखा था कि अब BSc को तो छोड़ दिया है, डर था? What was that?
Yeah, so for me it was like obviously I left a very good college and a very good course, and IMS BSc Economics.
मम्मी पापा मारेंगे.
Yeah, it was that, and again in my family CA is like a go-to thing to do. Each of my cousins does it and everything. So I was like, I have to do it. Otherwise, next in September attempt, I have to give CA. So my motivating factor was I don't want to do CA. So let's crack IPMAT and let's go to an IIM.
ये बहुत ही clear है ना कि पहले जो option नहीं चाहिए वो निकाल दो. And then you see options क्या है, and then follow that. Yes. I think you had your good reasons for pursuing, But
again, I had also the somewhat laid backness I was like after 1.5 years I would give CAT. So let's see, jitna hota hai kar le.
You had nothing to lose.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Raksha, now coming to you. For you, your agenda was very clear that professional badminton is the main priority. Management is just a backup, okay, which is very different to the other students, okay. But you tell me, what was your motivation? Professionally खेलना तो है ही, तो फिर IPMAT के लिए इतना passion की एक महीना effort देना, because it's not an effort of 2 to 3 hours a day. It is definitely 7 to 8 hours which students tend to give in post board exams. And I know, speaking to students, that 7 to 8 hours at times even go up to double digit of 10 to 12. Okay, you tell me, what was your motivation?
Before appearing for the IPMAT exam itself, I already had offers from most of the universities abroad. I had offers from some of the good universities in India as well. I had Flames, I had Manipal, and I had Shivnadar. So for me, if I managed to get into an IIM, it was just a bonus for me. Moreover, my plan was to give the exam in 2026. So I was basically running 1 year ahead of my own timeline. So it was just a bonus for me. I mean, as you said, I had nothing to lose. So this was just an upgradation of the current level of colleges that I had. So there was no going back from that point. कि अरे ये नहीं होगा तो I'm going to lose something. Admission नहीं हो रहा है. No, I had admission. So this was just कि let's try it. I mean, some of my friends during 12th boards, they were going to appear for the IPMAT. They had been undergoing coaching for the last 1 year. And they were the ones who actually told me ki, okay, IIMs have now started an undergrad program. I got to know mid of grade 12. That's how late I got to know. Then I said, okay, if you're going, I'll also come along with you and give the exam. The funny part is, I did not cross any cutoff in any of the mock tests. Not even a single mock test I crossed the cutoff. I was always 15 to 20 marks lower than the cutoff. So I really didn't think that I would make it because performing, I am a big match player when it comes to sports, bade tournaments mein I perform, but directly going into the exam and cracking the cutoff and not actually doing it in practice, it was really surprising for me. So I expected that at least 2 to 3 days before the exam, at least मैं crack करूँगी, but I couldn't crack the cutoff. No, I couldn't. I mean, VARC and LR, I managed to improve. I was still just above the cutoff. But quants, there was no scope for me in quants. But fortunately, the motivating factor was that I just wanted to give my best for an exam. Undergraduation mein, okay, let me try. Mainly, I wanted to prove to all the student athletes, not student athletes, to the athletes, the general traditional convention that we have in India is that athletes are athletes. They cannot be students. So most of my friends in the national circuit, they do not do their education, formal education after grade 12. It's usually a drop. They do it from open schooling, or they just do some BA degree not because they're interested in arts, but because they just want to focus on sports. It's not that I wanted to prove to all of them and also to motivate young athletes like me to take up roles, to take up dual roles, be an athlete as well as a student. And I mean, it's totally possible if I can get into a top B school in the country alongside managing professional badminton. If not an IIM, it's definitely possible to do a good BBA or even engineering. It is possible to manage. So that was the motivating factor for me to change the current notion in society. Yeah,
I think, Raksha, you have done that, in a very lovely manner, right? But one thing which, what I can understand by, what you said and what you said, I speak to parents, I speak to a lot of students. In IMS, we have so many students and so many, parents coming and talking that, is it really needed? Why the student, when it comes to the learning journey, specifically learning journey of the student, one thing which I think right now is a thing which students and parents would be able to pick it up from here, is that if you really want to do it, it's not about, there is no excuses which would work. Okay? There are no excuses for not doing it. If you want to do it, you will, come what may, you will definitely ensure that you reach the goal. So there's only one thing which motivates a student is the passion within themselves. और वो कोई मम्मी पापा या कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता unless as a student you don't really want to aim IIM, then it can be any IIM. So IIMs, now we have around what, 11, 12 IIMs, starting with Indore, Rohtak, Amritsar, Shillong. The opportunity is so much. It's just that you need that zeal in you. And you both have, kind of proved it so beautifully. And I'm so proud of, both of you. Okay, now let's talk about something very interesting, which is the most dreading part for all the parents and students. Okay? You go, or I don't know if you guys have seen it, but have you seen in a circus a person walking on a tight rope with a stick in the hand? You guys in your 12th, you do exactly the same thing. वो stick के एक end में prep होता है, which is for your aptitude test, और एक तरफ होता है तुम्हारा boards. And this is the most common question which parents have in their mind कि boards पे से ध्यान हट जाएगा, boards पे नहीं कर पाएंगे. So what I want to understand from you, Harsh, I'm sure for you being a partial drop, but पढ़ाई चल रही थी, पढ़ाई रुकी नहीं थी. How did you manage? Was it something too difficult? कि it was like कि दोनों जगह पे attention नहीं देना है. It is just that वो time लगता है कि एक जगह पे जब focus करना है तो दूसरी जगह से focus हट जाता है. और aptitude test का जो prep है वो boards में भी help करता है. वो मुझे बताओ.
So, ma'am, for me it was like after my exams I did my IPMAT, so there was nothing as clashing it. But again, I think the focus was important. Ki if I had started in February only my IPMAT prep, my SEM exams of college would have been disturbed, and even after and both IPMAT would have been disturbed. So I think one focus is very important, and I also think ki aptitude test really helps in your boards and everything, because maths, and I think for me maths and all was pretty similar to boards level only. So it is actually, if you see IPMAT ka curriculum, they the maths is actually 10th or 12th level only, and they tell also. So for me maths and all was like you can do it with boards can help you also.
Boards definitely helps, with IPMAT prep or any aptitude test prep would definitely help you, because eventually you're looking at the sections, which is mathematics. We talk about VARC. Let me just kind of clear the understanding. अभी तक अगर students सुन रहे हैं और समझ नहीं पा रहे VARC है क्या, which is verbal ability and reading comprehension. So what was your journey like, Raksha?
In terms of managing my 12th
yes,
and
12th and
IPMAT.
this.
So I did not mix both of them. I did both of them separately. I focused first on my 12th, and then once the board exams were finished, then only I opened my IMS material to start for IPMAT prep. Before that, I hadn't even looked at what is there in the IPMAT exam. No mock test, nothing. I was just aware that 1 month after my boards are completed, I will have to give an aptitude test. So for me, there was no problem managing both, because I did not manage both at once. It was sequential, one after the other. I have to accept here that before starting my board prep, I actually opened the quant section of the IMS material. I opened the quantitative aptitude module, and then I realized that, I can't take the risk that I leave my 12th preparation. I didn't have that much confidence. Okay, I can leave 12th, I'll prepare this QA and then I'll crack the exam. So I did not have that confidence, and I knew that risk I cannot take. So I wanted to get secure good marks in my grade 12 board exams. So that, because most other colleges, they do give you an admission based on your grade 12, like Delhi University gives you. So I was initially aiming for that. And then later I said ki in 1 month, if it is possible, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'll do it in 2026. So I think we need to normalize the concept of taking a drop year. I mean, it's totally fine. If you have the confidence, if you're a student who's scoring 80 plus in your 10th and 12th boards, if you have good grasp on mathematics and vocabulary, I think it's totally okay to take a drop year. There is no hurry. Nothing like pursuing a good undergraduation degree. So even if you have to take a drop, which was initially my plan. It turned out to be different, but I think taking a drop and preparing for both separately is a better idea than trying to juggle both these exams during your 12th boards. That is not, I mean, that puts a lot of pressure on the student without guaranteeing success in either of them. Then it becomes a very stressful situation, especially if you do not manage to convert an IIM. So yeah, taking a drop is, I think, a great idea.
I think it was very smart, answer, Raksha, for your prep and the journey what you had. Now, coming to the fact that IPMAT Rohtak, Harsh, you have cracked IPMAT Rohtak,
Yes.
and you are eventually decided on going with IIM Rohtak. Okay, tell me your reasons for opting for IIM Rohtak.
So first of all, I did not get into Indore and other colleges. I got into Kozhikode. So for me, it was like if I want to take Kozhikode or Rohtak. So I guess Rohtak was better for me because I think the academic rigor is there, and plus the campus life at Rohtak is way better. Because Kozhikode is still at a transit campus, and you have also only 120 students compared to Rohtak, which has 200 students and also seniors and all. So I think a campus life and the community there would be way better than Kozhikode. So that's the reason I took Rohtak only.
And what about the discipline? I'm sure you have heard about the discipline aspect as well.
Yeah, so that was also one of the, this is a peculiar reason, but for me, my lifestyle is like a bit off. Like I sleep at 2 or 3 and I wake up at, I don't know, 2 or 3 in the morning. And so for me, it is like Rohtak will inculcate a discipline, at least for the next 3 years. I obviously want to, after 3 years, I want to give CAT and try for a better IIM. But I think for this 3 years, waking up at, let's say, 5 a.m. doing yoga and again sleeping at 9 o'clock would create a good discipline in me, and which will help me in future.
A while back when we were talking, Harsh, you definitely mentioned the same thing to me.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think you are prepared for the kind of discipline or the kind of life which IIM, because IIM is, the name definitely after 12 sounds fancy, sounds ambitious, sounds like a status or, a thing which you can tag along or you can flaunt. But something which is a given fact that this, with IIM comes a lot of rigor.
Yes.
With IIM comes a lot of discipline and learning which would stay with you throughout life, and little bit of sacrifices which you will have to give and do. So you tell me something, when you decided, okay, fine, I would go to, IIM Rohtak. Have you thought about everything and you feel that you would sail through?
I don't think that I would sail through, but I think I can manage, because the thing is that everywhere I go, I need to have somewhat struggle, and the rigor would be there. And I think in Rohtak, everyone is threatening me, but I don't think, as I have talked to my seniors and all, like one of my brother is also in IIM Rohtak, he's a third year student, and he told that he can also manage pretty well. So I think it is not that hard, and maybe people are making a little fuss. I don't know.
See, when it comes to fuss is concerned, I have interacted with Rohtak students very often. Okay, I have a lot of students this year. We have 63 students in Rohtak. One thing I can definitely tell you, your appetite for discipline, for studies, for accepting the change which these universities, institutes get in your life is the key to move ahead. It's just a phase. You would feel homesick. You would feel a little anxiety. Khud ka kaam khud karna hai. Kapde dhone hai. Right? But once you just hang on to it, just, there is this pakde rehna. That particular thing is the only key to ensure that you sail through, because after that, the journey would be definitely worth whatever efforts you guys would be putting in. Okay. Now let's go again back to the prep. And now let's talk about what exactly helped you with your prep. Was it a little habit? You just mentioned very, very humbly you accepted that you get up at odd hours, you sleep at odd hours. I am sure with your age, Harsh, a lot of students who are listening would say, "मैं भी same करता हूँ," right? But you tell me, in this weird hours of waking up and sleeping, did you still manage to find a balance and working, or that habit which worked for you in your prep? What was that?
So, ma'am, I want to clarify that during my exams, my schedule is like I sleep at 10 p.m. and I wake up at 4 a.m. So, in my throughout the month, my schedule was 10 p.m. I sleep, 4 a.m. I wake, and then I start with RCs, and RCs go on till I have my breakfast, and again after that some grammar and vocab, and I sleep in the afternoon for I think 2-3 hours, and after that again maths. So that was my schedule.
Okay, but in this whole schedule, did you find some aspect which helped you, a habit, a tip which you felt ये बहुत अच्छा काम किया?
I think one thing was prioritization, because the thing is you have 1 month, so you can't do everything. In verbal also, I realized that RC is not my strong point, then why am I wasting my time on it? Rather, I will focus on vocab, grammar. In maths, I realized that I can't do geometry. I don't know even one of the formulas of geometry. But I realized that, and I realized that algebra is my strong point, arithmetic is my strong point. So the main thing I think is prioritization. You see what you are good at and just double down on that. Rather than focusing on doing I would do geometry also, I would try to do RCs also. I think focusing on your strong points is very better, especially when you have such a short time.
Raksha, coming to you. You also had a very short time. You in fact started reverse. Okay, you tell me what worked for you. What habit, what tip which you felt, ye try karo.
So I completely agree with what Harsh is saying. Instead of working on your weakness, it's better to just identify that is, you realize after giving your mock test what are the topics you're good at. It's just better to improve the speed in those topics rather than go to certain topics like trigonometry, which is I realized not for me.
Oh.
Trigonometry, no, I can't. So topics like work and time, speed, distance, all those arithmetic kind of problems, I really enjoyed solving also, because it did not require a lot of formulas to solve. I am someone who can't memorize even trigonometric formulas. No kind of formulas I can memorize. So focusing on quants, I think, is the key. But quant varies from exam to exam. You cannot predict the difficulty of your quant section in your IPMAT. I mean, I gave GIPMAT, I gave IIM Indore exam, I gave IIM Rohtak. The quant section was, I mean, the difficulty varied. Even from one mock test to another, the quant varies. But one thing that I've noticed is that the LR and the VARC sections, they remain fairly of the same complexity. So, to compensate for lower percentile in your quants, I think boosting your VA or LR performance is a great idea to follow, which is what I did. I focused on the other two sections. I mean, I didn't have to do much of prep to boost my performance in those sections. It came naturally to me with some bit of focus on VARC. So yeah, I think whatever, some people might be good at quants and not so comfortable with VARC. So it's just better to compensate in the sections where you can do good instead of aiming for equal marks in all three subjects, considering there is no sectional cutoff.
But tell me something, in this prep or in your learning of preparing for an aptitude test, be it an IPMAT Rohtak or in Indore, what is that one advice you would like to give, Harsh, to your juniors who are preparing for 2026, 2027? First, tell me what prep you would, what kind of advice you would give them.
I think the main advice is that for me also, that I wanted to add into the last question also, okay, have some excitement for the prep. For me, it was like every day you should have like, for your prep, for me it was like, I have to do this, you have like your goals. So have some excitement for that. And the one important thing is that embrace your discomfort. Like when you are
said.
struggling, that is the time when you are growing the most. So embrace your discomfort. Don't get disheartened by if you get less in mocks or something else. Just keep going and you will find your way. It is very easy.
And I think you just said a line which I would be able to kind of give this to the students. Harsh, that was very well said. Embracing the discomfort,
Yes, ma'am.
which is difficult, but I think
Yeah.
once you kind of reach that point of embracing it, things become easier. Well said. What about you, Raksha?
The first tip that I would give to you is please opt for coaching. I mean, register either at IMS. I mean, IMS material has done wonders for me, especially the masterclass part, wherein Durga Shankar sir is there, Karthik Kotari sir is there, Diana ma'am is there. I mean, the video solutions, even though I couldn't attend even a single live session, the experience was the same. Nothing like a mentor verbally explaining problems to you, and you have recordings of those sessions available with you. So you can just replay it until you understand the problem or some concept. So definitely opt for coaching classes. Doing it on your own, it's not impossible, but it's a bit difficult, and getting support is always a better option. Mock tests are a must. Never go into an exam without attempting a mock of that exam, mock version of that exam. It is a must, and analysis after mock is as important as the mock itself. You have to solve all the unattempted questions. So mock test is definitely a must. So these are two tips that I would like to give. And if you have any other extracurricular activities, like I enjoy music or playing the piano whenever I'm free, guitar. If you have something else, if you play sports, anything like that, I think holding on to that for like 1.5 hours a day, it really helps you stay fresh physically and mentally. Is sitting for 10 hours in front of the screen and solving problems exhausts you physically and mentally. So I think please hold on to your passion. Just don't let go that because you want to get into an IIM. Yeah.
Lovely. It is such a lovely chat, with both of you, where I have kind of realized that, normally we underestimate students who are 16, 17, and a lot of parents would, kind of realize that you guys have your own thought processes, a little not really on the straight line, but eventually that zigzag lines reach you or kind of ensure that you reach the goal. So all the best, Harsh, and all the best, Raksha, with your individual IIMs. Okay,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
do
you so
well,
much.
be in touch, and if you need anything, I'm just a call away.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having us.
This particular chat was very interesting. Today I learned that it is not necessary for you to do the traditional paths. You don't really have to give 12 hours to study. You don't have to prepare with board exams. But there's one thing which needs to be constant, is the fact that if you really want to achieve a goal, be it studying in IIM, the only thing you need is that zeal and passion, and then come what may, you would reach that particular goal. Be not IIM Indore, but yes, worth the IIM Rohtak, which is again not at all bad because you get IIM. And with 11 IIMs, I am sure all of you who are listening to this particular podcast would have something to take away, because I have learned a lot about how your 16-year-old mind thinks about the prep. And I'm sure this was helpful for you. So if you have any questions, if you want to ask anything, just mention it in the comment box. We'll be more than happy to answer that for you. And all the best for your prep. Go ahead, pursue IPM, target IIM. This dream of yours can definitely, you will achieve it if you have the same passion, what you possibly have it for anything else, what you look at. So, see ya.